This is time. It's time, everybody, for welcome.
it's
Welcome to Fargo Knots,
time for
everybody.
the welcome.
It is I, Eric Bradshaw. I'm here with my Broichi boys, Wilson,
Hello.
Tyler,
Hello.
and we have come back together for another episode of our 80's pilot, like 80's multimedia
You were so close.
Boy.
One more word. 80's pilot
franchise
rewind.
pilot, viewing and rating series here. We have gotten to probably next to Turtles, probably the next most popular franchise out of these. Which is the Transformers. Originated. It was the 40th anniversary last year. Same
cool.
as Turtles. Turtles was 40 last year as well.
Oh.
Wow.
They did a collaboration that is the Turtle Van that transforms into the Turtles.
Yes, I remember us talking about that.
It's tight. You can replace the top. It can just be the normal Turtle Van, or you can replace the top of the head so you can be one of the turtles. But anyway,
That makes me want to hear Peter Cullen say like Autobots Cowabunga or some shit.
Yeah.
yeah, right. It was originally a franchise made up of repackaged toys of disparate franchises in Japan, in America. That's why some of them that's why you get the obvious Optimus Prime. He's a fucking semi truck with a trailer, but then you have Megatron, whose original version was a pistol, because that was the toy from that brand was it was a handheld pistol and it transformed into a robot.
Mm-hmm.
They're disparate toy brands brought together under one unified thing for the American market. And of course, what are you gonna do? But you're gonna blitz it to all the big children media. So just like G.I. Joe, you got a Marvel comic, and you got a animated series. But anyway, 1984 was the year. Comic came not long after. Fucking same with the animated series. This one has had just as much staying power in consistently having some form of television series or movie out for almost its entire existence, just like Turtles.
So,
Yeah.
with all that said, let's actually jump into the first episode
Let's jump
here,
into it.
and then we'll talk a little bit more about the impact and the things like that, and maybe our initial reactions to seeing this again for some I don't know how long it's been for me, but I might have actually caught this in passing at one point, I'm just going to throw this on and just have it play in the background, or show one of my kids what Transformers used to look like, So let's jump in, let's see what we can see, and then we'll discuss.
Well, whatever we see, remember, gotta collect them all.
One of meets the eye.
Well, we watched Transformers, the first part of the first episode, the pilot.
Yep.
What'd you guys think initially?
Fun, dude. They sent you with that story right away. They introduce you to key players. They hit you with the fucking banger ass theme song. They fucking they get you to Earth. And they start setting the stage with how things are going to be on Earth. Story's easy enough to follow. But it's not like fucking He-Man where it's just okay, whatever, who fucking cares. There's actual story there that can give you some substance. Characters, They're actual, even though they're robots, and their faces don't move all that much. We got some characterization, you know. I enjoyed it.
How about you, Wilson? What did you think about it initially?
I agree. I mean, I thought that like starting out, it was gonna probably be like, I don't know. I thought we would spend more time on Cybertron or something like that, but it got moving pretty quickly, and I appreciated looking back now that you can see that like Sideswipe has this weird like hover car, like he's like an F-Zero car on Cybertron.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really.
Yeah, they're like alien versions of the things they end up being.
Yeah, it's like clearly they're not going to reflect their like human, like Earth counterparts, where Optimus isn't going to be a big semi truck already. But yeah, like a nice variety of a cast of characters. You get a bunch of Decepticons, bunch of Autobots. Things hit the ground running. You get a like good sense of what's going on, and yeah, it's just simple enough. Like good guys, bad guys, nothing in between. There's not that info dump at the beginning of He-Man, like, I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, and I've got to keep this secret, but when I raise the sword, and this is Cringer. And, yeah. It was good. I like, yeah, good intro, good, just good, like, for a first episode, and especially, like, this feels a little bit more self-contained, maybe, than some of the other, like, two-parters, if we're going to really consider this a two-parter. Yeah, I guess because it is part one.
Yep.
But it feels like it stands well enough on its own, and yeah, entertaining. I liked it.
Yep, I'll say that there's a lot to latch on to, a lot of characterizations. Like I really like love the bad guys. I love Starscream.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of personality. He's just like he doesn't think twice. He just kind of does stuff.
You want to hear a little fun fact about old Starscream?
Sure.
The voice actor for Starscream, Christopher Collins, he's credited as.
Mm-hmm.
He is also the voice of. Can you guess? Who would you think that someone like a character like Starscream would voice in something we've fairly recently watched?
A voice in
Cobra Commander.
Yep.
It took me a
Same.
second. I'm like, oh wait, that's the exact same voice.
yeah.
Yep.
It is the exact same voice.
Yep.
That's what I love
and
about those guys.
It comes back. It comes back later. There's an episode where there's a thinly veiled Cobra Commander that shows up in an episode of Transformers, which is funny. But that's a thing too with this. You get dudes who are all over the different shows as well. Corey Burton, who a lot of us know as like Cad Bane and like Dooku and like fucking Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He is in this. He's Spike Witwicky, as well as a bunch of Transformers. Another guy whose name comes up, well, Casey Kasem, as Wilson pointed out, Cliff Jumper.
Who does Soundwave? Does somebody specific?
That's Frank Welker.
Okay,
Frank
yeah.
So listen to Frank Welker's fucking character list here. Megatron, Soundwave, Skywarp, Rumble, Ravage, Galvatron, Laserbeak, Trailbreaker, Mirage, Mixmaster, Sludge, Wheelie, Sweep, Frenzy, Blades, Buzzsaw, Groove, Sharkticon, Chrome Dome, Pinpointer, Steeljaw, additional voices, Booper, Brutalo, Computer, Cybertronic Narrator, Delta Pavonis, 4Cat, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, Royal, Hector Ramirez.
Just in the middle,
Just in the middle there.
Yeah.
Oh, just
Junkion,
Gary Shelley
Nico
is Dr.
Don,
Victor
Nitro,
Frankenstein.
Poplock, Ratbat, Russian propagandist, Teletron 2, yeah, Teletron 2, Throttlebot, Transorganics. Like
You're making some of these up. You've been shitting me for
Dalai Lama.
Peter
10
Collins,
seconds. Yeah.
Peter Collins, Optimus Prime, Ironhide, Streetwise, Slugslinger, CB Radio, Frankenstein's Monster, Halonix Maximus, Hound's Hologram,
Dracula.
It, Joe, Nightstick, Plalak, Wingspan. Like all these dudes are like.
You're saying
million-
Frank Welker played Peter Cullen?
Yes. Christopher Collins as well as like the guy who's Starscream. He's Wheeljack also. Sparkplug Witwicky. He is Laserbeak. He's like all sorts of people too. Like all these dudes voice like a bajillion people.
Right.
But like another name that comes up is Alan Oppenheimer, who in this, I don't know if he's not in this episode, but he plays Warpath and Beachcomber. Anyway, his other big credit is he is the voice of Man-at-Arms and Skeletor in He-Man. And so it's like a lot of these dudes are in like all of these shows, right? And even more so, a lot of these dudes too end up being in a series we might do after this, being the like Disney Channel Saturday morning cartoon block. Like a lot of these fuckers were in all of those too. Like Corey Burton was in like all of those shows too. Rob Paulson ends up being in Transformers. Brad Garrett ends up being.
That's great.
Like it's so many people come through it. Fucking Winnie the Pooh and Darkwing Duck himself, Jim Cummings, ends up being in this shit too. You know what I mean? Like all these guys. Maurice LaMarche.
Just a mackerel of Energon.
All these dudes come through. But yeah, I think they all do a very good job. Especially like it's Frank Welker, the dude's, you know, fucking like Mel Blanc reincarnated, because he just does a bajillion fucking voices and they all sound different. But like they all give unique character to these bajillion characters they voice in this, you know.
I'm looking at the designs, and I was looking at a lot of the unique designs of these guys. I'm looking at Starscream here, and he's looking a lot like a Gundam. That chest piece without that, you know, his cockpit right on his chest.
He said cock.
Those two pauldrons, you know, like
a small bit in the chest area. Yes.
Keep in mind, Gundam was out at this point. You know, had been out for a while. The big robot craze, know, had been going for a while. You know, your Jaguar type guys and your fucking Ultraman and your Sentai stuff and your.
It's funny that you say that, Eric, because like you know, without specifically looking into what Megatron, like where that came from, specifically what that probably was inspired by was that whole super robot, big robot Sentai craze, and like so this Transformers is a direct like this is like the trickle down effect from the East, you know, it's come to the West.
Look at Robotech, right? It was planes that transformed into robots. Like this was all at that time, and it was like we say that this was a property that was made up of disparate big robot or transforming robot toy lines in Japan that they just merged together in one for a franchise in the West. You know what I mean? But it does come from that. I think the dude who did Gundam, or one of the lead designers, ends up doing a Transformers offshoot or some shit at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Said a customer at work who went through and watched all of the Transformers anime, and because there's a lot of that too. But yeah, and I think he brought that up. But yeah, I think it works as an episode of TV very well. Not just a toy ad.
Right. I wasn't getting a lot of whiplash watching this. Like I was with G.I. Joe a bit, just because it was like, I don't know, I should have counted like the seconds between the cuts. But there were sequences in this that kind of let it breathe. But in G.I. Joe, it was just like snap, next thing, snap, next thing.
Yeah.
It is very streamlined, and it is just here it is. You know what I mean? But like, um, basic story, basic whatever. But it is efficient in its storytelling, and yeah, I don't know. I just think it does very well.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things I can say
what it
that
is.
it did wrong. I got a good semblance of the bad guys. I got a good idea of the good guys and what they can do. I liked the quick explanation of why they turned into cars, because we have that little satellite that goes and scouts and scans and gets them information. There's not a whole lot of hiding. There were the hiding in plain sight kind of stuff because they saved this
They just
crew.
they just woke up in modern day, right?
Yeah. So there's like they saved these people from this sinking barge thing, whatever they're doing. They're oil refinery guys.
Right.
So yeah, Optimus does his duty and saves them. So that was a good tie-in to the future of them interacting with the human race, and then the protective nature of Optimus. And so I could see where it's going, and I give it a good thumbs up. It's a lot better and more memorable, and I can think of better things to come, with this than I could have with like a He-Man. Like, is this really gonna get better? Like, is this? I don't know. But if other people have, like, I'm gonna say this at the end of every one we talk about, but if there are a sequence or a plot thread that you like of any of these shows, let us know. Like, if we have to watch this show, what episodes do we have to watch of this show? Because I'd be more interested to see that, and like that the dynamics, the cliffhangers, the plots, whatever. Introducing new characters, killing off old characters, whatever it is. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what other people say.
Yeah, like there's certainly those people out there with that info. So if you're one of them, let us drop us a line.
Drop us a line, hit us up in the comments, and yeah. Anything else to add about this before we sign off for this one?
Fucking Broichi boys transform and roll out, bro.
We haven't heard
Passing through these 80s pilots, man. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking today too, like, what else? Was it like Rainbow Bright? Like, I was really just trying to rack my brain of different 80s cartoons that could be included in this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I guess if we're just trying to like keep it to the more action-oriented Saturday morning stuff, yeah.
I was like, I was thinking like the things we all think of when we think of like 80s toy franchise type things, but with some like deeper cut ones too that tried to do things but didn't,
Mm-hmm. So join us next time where we might be able to do a double feature of Voltron and Silverhawks. What do you guys think of that?
Dub Beach.
Beach, dude.
As you can see here, this chrome-looking logo was super popular in the 80s too.
So dope. Yeah.
And then we have Silverhawks coming in hot with that kind of same chromium silver look to their logo too. So I think we should jump into another giant robot with Voltron, and then jump into Silverhawks with the metal theme that we're doing now. So yeah, stay tuned when we go to those. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Adios in robot.